Hey, 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 welcome to another episode of the Sacred and Profane Podcast with Neftara Grace. So excited for this episode, but first, a little housekeeping. This is the Sacred and Profane Podcast for those of you who are 18 years old or older and also emotionally mature. It's for an emotionally mature audience only. Woo! All right, jumping right in. The runes for this episode are Mannaz for manifestation, Dagaz for intuition, Jera for year or cycles, and what is this last one? Eiwaz, yeah, magic, death, dreaming, the tree of life. It's perfect, perfect. So, uh, jumping right into this particular conversation, we're still talking about manifesting, but we want to dig in a little deeper. So, up until the past few episodes, we've talked about your thoughts, we've talked about the quality of your thoughts, we've talked about how to cultivate immunity, spiritually, mentally. We kind of started off, I think that was the original conversation, like cultivating your immunity in every area of your life, right? And then we started getting into how to cultivate immunity mentally, how to protect yourself mentally, how to put mental shields up against the onslaught of illusion, lies, glamour work that's happening right now. This, I was about to get sidetracked because we're in such Neptunian energy. It's super easy to get glamorized, enchanted by things that are not as they appear to be. Okay. So we just did the past few episodes were in that vein. This episode, we're going to get nitty gritty. We're going to dig into the practical side of manifesting. So let's say you're on track with those first few conversations, right? Let's say you're like, no, my thoughts, like I'm single minded, I'm focused on my desires. I got that. I'm taking actions that are in alignment. I got that, right? Like you've got the vision, you're holding the vision, you're taking action towards the vision. Now what? I call this the last step of the manifesting cycle. And that's why I love the runes that came out because manifesting does occur in a cycle very similar to the lunar cycle. Okay. And probably like the lunar cycle, you're not familiar with the manifestation cycle. I mean, you see the moon, you can see it move through the phases, but you're likely not familiar with the benefits of each phase as it relates to physicality and as it relates to emotional nature, right? Given that the moon heavily influences water, which makes up the majority of our bodies in a planetary body, right? So there's when the moon moves, when the moon phases every 3 to 3.5 days, okay, there is something that shifts both in our emotional body and in our physical body. Okay. All right. But the manifestation cycle is like that. Like you probably see it, you see it, but you probably don't know it. Okay. The last step of the manifestation cycle that we're going to dive into is gratitude. This step is crucial. If you or somebody you know has had difficulty manifesting reliably, consistently, I guarantee gratitude is the key. Okay. I'm going to throw a whole course into the Patreon for you guys. It's been kicking around for a while, but I haven't ever released it. It's the Alchemy of Gratitude. This is exactly what it's for. It's for people who've gotten really, really good at visualizing, really, really good at clarifying their desires, but still haven't quite gotten reliable with the manifestation, the alchemy of gratitude. So we're gonna dive in this conversation, but we're not gonna pick it apart. I'm gonna give you a course to pick it apart your own time. It's gonna be a go at your own pace course. It'll be available in Patreon. I'll let you know when. Okay. But for now, just stick with me in this conversation. So gratitude, because gratitude, because that's really, yeah, I should make a t-shirt. Gratitude, because everything. So the act of manifesting anything, it doesn't matter what it is or who you are, is an act of co-creating with the universe. Okay. Now, I mentioned to y'all that the Sacred and Profane podcast is a Conversation for adults only, people who are 18 years older. If you're not 18, emotionally mature, you got to check out now. Okay. When I talk about co-creating with the universe, I want this to be as accessible to you as possible. I don't want there to be any confusion. So I want to bring you to the most practical visualization I can provide you with when I talk about co-creating. So I want you to picture that you desire, and there's something you want, whatever it is, a house, car, job, mate, space, I don't give a what it is. You want it. That's what matters. But the way this reality is set up is if you want something, you've got to plant a seed for it. That's why I call it the cosmic garden, and I call myself a cosmic gardener for this reason. Okay. Because if you want something, it's not like, oh, I want a new car. It's not in your pocket. That's why you want it, because you don't already have it. Or do you? See, it's like this. Manifestations are seeded by your desire. So that's the first step, right? Is being very clear about what you desire versus what is being uh, put upon you. Okay. That's that initial conversation. Shielding yourself mentally, cultivating that immunity in every area so that what you're left with are your feelings, your desires, your thoughts, right? Not someone else's. It's being projected onto you, subliminally or otherwise. But now here we are at this final step where we've seeded the manifestation with our desires. We've nourished it with our actions, tended to it, cultivated it with our intention and attention. We've invested in this seed. We've amended the soil, which means we've done our shadow work. Okay. The last step is gratitude. Now, in real life, what this would look like is you and your lovey-dovey, whoever that is for you. Okay. Listen, some of y'all are solo acts like myself. There's no shame in my solo game. I don't know about you. So whether you're lovey-dovey with an other, or yourself, there's first a spark of desire, and then there's commiserate action. You know what I'm talking about? And then there's something that closes it out. Yeah? There's the desire, the action, the co-creative process where the two become one. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And then there's something that ends that closes it out. Now, if that last step doesn't happen, most of y'all are likely to get up or walk around feeling like you got cheated out of something. Okay? Most people feel some kind of way until that thing happens. All right? Everybody's a little bit different when it comes to orgasms, though. I don't know what you thought we were talking about, but in your everyday life, that's what co-creation looks like, is it not? You have a desire, you take the commensurate action, a little touch here, a little touch there, to become one. It doesn't matter for how long. It happens, and then it's over. There's some type of final release, and then it's complete, and then the whole thing can start again if you want it to. So if you are somebody who knows having some sticky points with manifestation, like it's not reliable, sometimes you can manifest, sometimes you can't. I'm going to ask you to consider, it's this last step, it's the gratitude part, it's the release part that is not flowing for you. Okay. So it's like your manifestation cycle isn't restarting because it's not finishing. Okay. And we all want to finish. All right. So why gratitude? Why gratitude? Well, let's keep it G. When you're in that moment and you're finishing with your partner, or hey, if you're solo act, whatever, there is that moment, that first flush moment right after. What are you present to? I mean, let's face it, that immediate moment after, you can barely breathe, right? Le petit mort. You're, right? Your breath has been taken away. You are in awe. There's a flush that's going through your actual physical body. If you're thinking, it ain't about too much other than what's in front of you. Not in that moment. Okay. That release is everything. I don't know how this happened, but you guys have got me in the space of the divine initiation. If you don't know the course, the divine initiation through the sacred exchange, I highly recommend it. This is now for some reason we're just dipped into the divine initiation energy, but it's perfect because that course is all about mastering manifestation using the energy of your orgasm. So, okay, I can see how we ended up there. But anyway, that's what the whole course is. And that's why I created that course, because one of the easiest ways to become reliable, to become a master at manifesting, is to do so via your orgasms. Orgasms is so natural. It's such a powerful way to manifest that when you couple the technology that that I've discovered and put together for you, and you put it with your orgasms, it's like you just freaking, you're a master, you're unstoppable, living proof. All right. So when you are, when you are present, when you are present during sex, I don't think there's anything more beautiful, because available to you are all of the emotions in one place at the same time. The act itself is the intersectionality of pain and pleasure. Every exquisite, excruciating second. That's what we love about it. That's what we are obsessed with it. Because we get to access our multidimensional natures when we express our sexuality. Something can be good and bad. It can hurt and delight. It can please. It can be everything. It is like touching the divine. It really is. And so that moment of release, in that moment of release, everything is expressed. The awe, the wonder, the majesty, the love, the gratitude, the intimacy, the connection, the gratitude. For most of us, we seek out sex for that release. And even though we might not say it, when we have that release, there is this microsecond of gratitude. It's there. If you're present, you know it. It's there. Some of us have the balls, pun intended, to say, God, I needed that. Oh my God, thank you. I needed that. And that's real. Some of you have such profound releases, you just cry because that's really what you needed. And you're so grateful. The sad part is, in modern society, we've cheapened our sexual encounter so much that it feels inappropriate to express gratitude after an orgasm, yet nothing could be more appropriate. Nothing could be more authentic, and nothing can be considered more sacred than to express gratitude for an orgasm. But we don't. but we could. Anyway, we're not here to talk about sex. We're talking about manifesting. They're kind of the same thing, but there are some key differences. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about gratitude being the last step of manifesting, gratitude being the actual release of the manifestation cycle. But please don't get it twisted. When you get to that part of your manifestation where you seeded the desire, you've cultivated it with your actions, you have to let it go. This looks a number of different ways. The first thing it looks like is you don't worry about it. And you might think that's easier said than done, but step two is how you make it easy. And step two is you literally shift how you speak about that which you desire. This is crucial. So if you're manifesting a car and someone says, "Oh my God, have you gotten a car yet?" And there is no car in your driveway, and yet you know that's what you seeded your desire for, you would say something along the lines of, "I have picked out the car of my dreams. And I'm so excited. I can't wait until I'm behind the wheel." You can say that. Or you can say, "No, not yet. I thought I was going to get more money for my tax refund than I did. And I don't." Which one nourishes the manifestation called "I desire a new car"? And they both are true. That's the part you got to get. There's no car in your driveway, but have you looked up your dream car online? Of course you have. You got the dang picture on your vision board. I saw it. But did you get as much money as you thought in your tax return? No, you didn't. But only one of those responses is an actual authentic response to, "Hey, do you have your new car yet?" "Oh my gosh, I have found my dream car. I was looking and looking and looking, and then I finally thought, while I'm on CarMax, I'm going to get on Mercedes.com." And they let you like custom do the whole thing right there. Oh my gosh, let me tell you. I custom did the whole thing, and then once you do it, they locate a dealer who might have that option for you. So while it's not in my driveway right now, I'm so excited. I cannot wait until it is. Because that's really true too. I can't wait, right? Like when you're getting something, you really can't wait. The point is, the way that you speak matters. You can tell the truth in a way that actually nourishes what you're co-creating with the universe. Okay. The other thing is to remember that you're co-creating with the universe. You're not manifesting something out of thin air. You're not putting in an order at a fast food restaurant. You're not pulling a rabbit out of your fucking hat. None of that is what's happening. Okay. You are co-creating with the universe. That means what you desire, the universe desires for you as well. It's a co-creation. That means when your desire is fulfilled, something will also be fulfilled for the universe. It's a co-creation. Are you with me? There's a part for you to play, then there's a part for the universe to play. It's a co-creation. So once you nourish and cultivate your seed, you have to release it to the universe so the universe can do its part of the co-creation. You did your part. You were clear about what you desired. You seeded that desire into the quantum field. You put your intention and attention on it as fertilizer and water. And whenever someone questions you about it, whenever you talk about it, should you choose to, it's your business, you do so in a way that continually fertilizes and waters this seed. All that's left to do is to step the fuck back, take your hands the fuck off, and leave it the fuck alone so it can grow. That's all there is to do. It's called letting go, releasing. That's what that's called. If you want, you can move on to the next manifestation, to the next seed. Yeah? So I love to garden. So I'll plant tomatoes and corn and squash and cucumbers. Oh my gosh, and the berries. Oh, I'm planting beauty berries this year, y'all. Y'all, it's my first year planting asparagus. I got asparagus seeds. I'm super fucking excited about my asparagus. Anyway, don't get me started about gardening. Anyway, but it's like that. Just because I planted all of my corn seeds doesn't mean I'm done. No, I got 12 other things I got to plant. So just because you planted the seed of manifestation for your car, don't stop. Once it's cultivated, nourished, you gave it your attention, and you release it to the universe, great. Move on to your next manifestation. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Because it's a co-creation, when the universe brings your manifestation back around, like, okay, this is for Sandra, 32J Bird Lane. Okay, Sandra, here's your manifestation. And you show up and you wanted a new car, yeah? And you got on Mercedes.com and you picked out the car, the local dealer, and you released it to the universe, and the universe said, oh, I got this, I got it. And then next thing you know, there's a knock on your door, and through some forces unbeknownst to man, such and such and such and such happened, and such and such and such and such didn't, and now there's an opportunity for you to acquire a new Mercedes Benz, the model you wanted, the color you wanted, the mileage you wanted, all of it. The only thing is coming from a dealer that's pretty far away. So you can arrange to go pick it up and drive it back this weekend, or if you're willing to wait an additional 2.5 weeks, they can deliver it to you. But don't don't play. You really wanted this Mercedes in time for Easter. Let's tell the truth. You wanted to drive it for Easter now. So you gotta figure it out. What are you gonna do? Do you drop everything and figure out how to get, 300 miles away, stay overnight in a hotel just to pick up a car? Or do you wait the 2.5 weeks? That's how the universe brings your manifestation back around. You guys, you're don't, this is the type of shit that happens, man. And so because of how it comes back around, you don't see it as a manifestation. You see it as a burden. Oh my God, I gotta figure out, I can't figure this out. My dog just got, because don't forget, you kept seeding other manifestations. So by the time the universe comes back around with your Mercedes, you're knee deep in another plot somewhere. And the universe is like, okay, so do you want this like, like in 2 days or 2 weeks? And you're like, what? I can't talk about that right now. What are you talking about? I'm busy over here. And the opportunity is to go, oh my God, I manifested a car. Holy shit, this is amazing. It feels so good to know that sometime between now and 3 weeks from now, I'm going to be in, this is unbelievable. It's going to be in my driveway. It feels so good. Thank you so much. So amazing. Once you express that gratitude, once you acknowledge that's your manifestation, you express gratitude for it, whether you should go pick it up or whether you should have it delivered will be very clear and very obvious. That's the cool thing about gratitude. It is like a key in a lock. I'm not going to call it a magic trick, but it is like a magic trick. So many times the universe brings our manifestation to us as a choice. Yeah, I'm hearing chocolate vanilla choose. If you know, you know. Chocolate vanilla choose. If you know, you know. The universe will bring you your manifestation as a choice. And you're leaving people fucked up. Because you go into the universe pretending like you putting in an order at Burger King. It ain't a goddamn food. It's not a restaurant. And it's definitely not Burger King. It's not going to go, you're not going to have it your way. You're going to have it our way. The co-creation way, the we. They'll have it our way, okay? And you're not ordering a hamburger. You're a complex human being. So when you manifest from desire, guess what? Your desires can be layered. So your manifestations can come back layered. You want to be able to recognize your manifestations for what they are. Let me tell y'all something. I'm living in a manifestation right now that I never ever thought was possible. I'm telling you, I'm living in a miracle. The life I live right now, I remember I couldn't imagine this. And it was like, it was so extreme for me that one day, this is years ago, Spirit came to me and said, what would you give to have that life? And I said, everything, because I didn't think it was possible. It's my everyday life right now. It's my everyday life. It's a co-creation involving my family, three other human beings with their own free will and all the, so guess what? It took a few years. Where are we at? Was that 2021 or 2022? It may have been 2022 when Spirit came and asked me that. What are you willing, what are you willing to give up for this? I said, everything, everything. Y'all, I lost my house. I lost my car. Like debt racked up. I'm like, as soon as I said everything, I'm telling you, I lost everything. Seemingly overnight. But what I wanted was my family. That's what I wanted. And that's what I got. Blood, sweat, and tears, I got my family. I manifested the family that I had over and over. Like if you guys knew the history behind my kids, like it's like they're miracles. They're miracles. But where I was, the house I was in was a manifestation. It was a manifestation whose time was complete. It was time for me to release it. And the new manifestation that I was seeding was my family together and safe. We had a history of being spread out. So family together and safe. That was my new seed. That one took years. I'm living in the manifestation of that one right now. I mean, I'm just like, I'm so grateful. Like, oh my God, I love my life. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Now, do I live where I want to live? No, there's so much for me to manifest. That's the beautiful thing about manifesting and really taking on your life. You don't stop. There's always something to manifest. There's always something to manifest. Gratitude, that release, restarting the manifestation cycle is everything. Saying the words thank you, saying the words I'm grateful. I wear a bracelet every day. It says so grateful. Just as this reminder, so grateful, so grateful, so grateful, so grateful. And that is 50% of my responsibility, 50% of your responsibility in the co-creative process of manifesting with the universe is gratitude. I learned there's a lesson I learned from Jesus, Yeshua, Sananda. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But profound messages. If you do not have a connection with Jesus, I highly recommend one. And that's what I'm gonna say. You want some wisdom, some practical wisdom that's gonna get you through the day every day. You need to talk to Jesus. And I mean, let me tell you, some of the conversations we've had, I'm like, don't nobody understand like Jesus. I promise you. I'm not religious. I don't even consider myself a Christian, but I know Jesus. Okay. Let me tell you. So anyway, we were talking and he's he was talking about, okay, so I had questions for Jesus. So I'm a healer, okay? So listen. I'm a healer. One of them, like, I don't have to touch you healers. I can heal you from across the world. But we all know so far the rock star healer of healers has been Jesus. Am I wrong? Okay. So listen, that's how I talk to you. I'm like, listen, in the healer hall, like, homie, how you do all that? What's your secrets? I want to know. Tell me. One conversation leads to another, and we talk about manifesting. Anyway, Jesus has this conversation where he's like, the key is loving everything you manifest, understanding that you created it and it has no inherent value until you bestow it upon your creation. Okay. And of course, he used the example of a potter and clay. Y'all know he loved that example. Okay. And I said, oh, that makes sense. He's like, so the potter makes the pot, the clay vessel. And of course, the potter is priceless. But if this is how the potter's paying his bills, he's got to put a price on it to put it on the shelf. Okay. And your manifestations like that. Sometimes you desire something during a season in your life that you grow out of, and so you no longer desire the same thing. I just read a book like this. Okay, this guy went through something really traumatic, and so he made some choices out of his trauma wounds that were valid at the time. Well, then time passed. He healed. 20 years passes. He heals, and then his life changes. And now he has a different life surrounded by different people. And now the choices he made 20 years ago are catching up to him. And y'all already know how that goes, right? It's like that. It can really be like that. Okay. So you really might have experiences where you're like, God, I just don't like what's in front of me. Jesus says, especially in those moments, what works is to love your creation anyway. And it took me a while to understand why, but I learned what I'm sharing with you. And that is when you love your creation anyway, when you're able to genuinely be grateful for it, you release it. You release it. That's when the situation clears. That's when the problem gets solved. That's when the issue dries up and goes away. At that moment of gratitude, that moment of release. You understand? Now it's release, it clears out, and now you have this space to manifest something new, take a rest, take a break, enjoy the peace, whatever. It's your choice at that point because you have clear space. Something got released, moved on. Okay. So that gratitude piece, it really is everything. And I'm double, sometimes I look at it as expressing gratitude for what I've created. And sometimes I look at it as looking lovingly upon all of my creations, because that's how Jesus gave it to me. Look lovingly upon all of your creations, he said. And that really, I mean, I had to sit with that one for years. It took me years because at that time, where am I now? No, 22 years ago? God, time flies. So it's just 22 years ago, this conversation with Jesus. And at the time, I had created some things in my life that I really didn't like. Some relationships. Let me tell you, some I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. And, Jesus' guidance was, okay, well, look lovingly upon it anyway. You created it. And I really struggled. And Jesus got down in the trenches with me, like, look, so picture each of your creations as your kids, as your babies. One baby cries more than the other. One baby has like a problem, they just have explosive diarrhea. So you don't love that baby? And of course, you know what happened. No, of course I love all the babies the same. It's like, well, that's how it is with your creations. Some of them don't turn out the way you want. Some of them are really effing shitty. You can still love your creations. And thank goodness it's not a baby, right? Because your creation, you can love a shitty creation and you can let it go. Look, with my son had explosive poop when he was a baby. I'm telling there were times we just put with his clothes on in the tub. Just put the baby in the tub. Just the whole baby in the tub. Just put him on. Put him in there. Don't take nothing else till he get in the tub. That's how it would be sometimes. It's like that though, you guys. Sometimes we create things that just stink. And no matter how hard we try, we can't seem to get out of it, get away from it. It's because we haven't released it. We haven't looked lovingly upon it with gratitude. We've been programmed and taught to deny, avoid, lie, manipulate, steal when it comes to creations we don't like. Oh, that's shitty. Let's kick it in the teeth. And then it never goes anywhere. Oh, that was crappy. Let's talk shit about it. And then it gets worse. I'm telling you, it's the gratitude and the love. Look lovingly upon all of your creations. If you're stuck, get unstuck with gratitude. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop here because I feel like that was a lot, but also I feel like you have some practices in there, right? Like one, the way that you're speaking about what you're manifesting. That's really key. Being able to own the manifestation process through your throat chakra and really exploring all the different ways, all the different perspectives you can take on what you're manifesting, right? It's your creation. You're creating the narrative around this creation. Create a narrative that allows you to love your creation and release it when it's time. Okay. It can be tricky, especially when it comes to relationships. Again, I know, but this is an opportunity for you to practice how you're speaking, practice choosing to see reality for what it is versus what your brain is telling you it is. That's a very important distinction that we're getting into here when we're talking about manifesting. Okay. But again, this conversation has been about really recognizing your manifestations when they occur so that you're able to express gratitude and look upon them with love, releasing them, clearing the space to manifest something new. It's never the destination. It's always the journey. See, once you get good at manifesting, you know yourself as a master manifester. What happens is you just want to manifest bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. Now, a little side note, because I know I said I was done, but I got to give this to you because it was there earlier and it's back again now. Okay. I talked about the divine initiation. If you're interested in that, that'll be on my website, neftaragrace.com. Also, I mentioned the alchemy of gratitude. That will also be available for you through my Patreon. But you can get to my Patreon through my website as well. So that's www.neftaragrace.com. Now, this piece right here. It came up earlier. It was like something that spirit threw in, and I was like, okay, I put it in my pocket, but it's coming back here at the end, and that is this. Some of you are questioning about manifesting money. Some of you are having some challenges manifesting money. Okay, let's get into this. I'm not going to dive in. It's not a deep dive. It's just like a couple minutes. But if you want more of manifesting money, let me know. You can write me an email. Again, all my information is on my website. You can connect with me on my Instagram, on my YouTube. You can find me. Let me up and let me know, hey, I want you to talk about manifesting with money more and I'll give you what you want. Okay. But here's this tidbit. Some people are born with resources that are physical. Some people are born with resources that are emotional. Some people are born with resources that are mental, and some people are born with resources that are spiritual. It's very rare for someone to be born with more than two of those resources. Okay. So it's very rare to find someone who's born to a wealthy family, who's exceptionally intelligent, emotionally stable, and spiritually developed. Listen. Listen. Even them OGs. Buddha was born rich, but he wasn't born spiritually developed. Jesus was born spiritually developed. He just wasn't born rich. You see what I'm saying? You don't really get, oh, listen. That's how the universe keeps things balanced out here in these streets. Okay. Out in these streets. So when it comes to manifesting money, you want to start by being clear about which one of those people are you. Did you come in with mental, spiritual, emotional, or physical resources? Now, you're trying to manifest money. You probably didn't come in with physical resources, but you got to know which one you did because you came in with mental, spiritual, or emotional. You need to start there. There are people who were born with physical resources trying to get what you have. I promise you. I promise you. So my suggestion to you is to first start by understanding what you already have and then learn how to monetize that. Okay? Because the people who have money want what you have. So if you figure out how to monetize what you already have, hell, they'll give you their money in exchange for it. Okay? There's your manifesting money part. All right, y'all. I really appreciate you coming back for this episode. This has been exciting. I think this is our 22nd or 23rd episode of the Sacred and Profane Podcast. It's too much fun. It's too much fun. Excited to keep going. Listen, if you haven't already, check us out on YouTube. We've got over 100 videos on the Neftara Grace channel. It's at Neftara Grace 144. As always, we're serving face on Instagram. And I'm super excited because after this spring equinox, the books will be open for ceremonies again, courses, all the different ways you guys want to connect, interact, and play. I will be available in just another week or so. Super excited. All right, that's it for now. In the meantime, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, trust your process, your path, and your purpose. Ashe.